Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni, and I thought I was recording and turns out I wasn't, so I'm going to start over and hopefully remember everything that I said. Anyway, so today is 1 week and 6 days since my husband was killed in a car wreck, and I've been told that what I'm doing is vlogging. So I'm talking just about what I'm going through, and it's mainly for my own therapy kind of, but also for, I hope that it does help other people. And anyway, like I was saying earlier, if it helps other people, then that helps me to feel like something good has come out of all this, and that would be really helpful. Anyway, I wanted to tell about something that has been happening to me for the last week that I just haven't been able to process to the point of being able to talk about it. So on Monday, my parents and I went up to Jonesboro and all that area to to get the stuff out of the truck and to go to the funeral home and that kind of stuff. And I was not wanting to see the scene of the accident that day because I just felt like doing those other things was just going to be way too much already. And, if it had happened closer to home, then we would have done each of those things on different days. So I would have time to process them and work through them. And it takes a lot out of you to do every one of those things. And I shared about all that on a previous video, so I'm not going to go into detail about it now. But anyway, my dad really wanted to figure out if he could find the scene of the accident. And he was also like looking for things on the road, like what could have caused Bill to lose control of the pickup, because we don't know what happened. We don't know if something medical happened. We don't know if there was something in the road. We don't know if something went wrong with the truck. I have no clue. And of course that, leaves you feeling very uneasy and discombobulated and everything. Anyway, so we were able to find the spot. We were fairly sure when we found it that it was the right spot, but we weren't completely sure until we got home and we were able to compare it with pictures from the scene of the accident and stuff. And we were able to confirm that, yeah, we were at the right spot. So, what has been bothering me has been, okay, when I first was learning about the accident and hearing the reports about it and everything, because there were witnesses and it was videotaped by a couple of people, and I haven't been able to see the videotapes. I've been asking, nobody's said no yet, but I haven't gotten an answer, so I'm hoping I'll be able to see those. Anyway, it's like, so from the descriptions, it's like he lost control of the pickup. He went into the Meridian, and then he went all the way across the Meridian. He was going northbound. He went all the way across into the southbound lane and collided with another vehicle head on. And that person also was killed. And so, of course, that's like really heavy on my heart that here's another person who also died, and a family who's going through the same things that I am. And so I'm praying for them. And oh my gosh, it's just, yeah, it's one thing to hear from people who have gone through it before me and they're able to say there's hope on the other end, but it's another thing to think about this family that is going through the same thing, and I don't know if they know the Lord or not, so I don't know if they have even that hope. I have no idea. I don't know how they're doing or anything. So anyway, what was I saying? So, but what I haven't been able to understand is how he went. It's a pretty big meridian. How did he get all the way across that meridian? And it's like the best thing that I could come up with as a possible reason was maybe he had a heart attack and his foot was on the gas or something. I don't know. So, but we did have an explanation when we were there. And before we went to try to find the spot, the trooper told us that where it was, it's kind of a hill. And so the northbound is up above the southbound. and that once you get into that meridian, you're going downhill, and that he was even airborne at one point. Now he said that airborne could mean just a few inches off the ground. It doesn't mean that he went, wow, like Evel Knievel or anything like that. But anyway, he wasn't touching the ground. So when you're not touching the ground, you don't have any control at all. And he had said that, even if he was braking, he couldn't have stopped. So anyway, so then we saw it, and yes, it is. It's downhill. And so it explains, why, because it's quite a ways between the northbound lane and the southbound lane. So it explains why he was all the way down there. And of course, with my very vivid imagination, I'm imagining what it was like for Bill. I can't help it. It just happens. I'm talking to a student. Whatever. It doesn't even have to be when I let my mind be at ease or anything. It's not so much happening when I sleep, but it's happening when I'm awake, that I'm like, it's not like I'm in the truck with Bill. It's like I am in his body or behind him or something. It's like I see things from his perspective, and it's just my imagination. I'm not saying that I'm supernaturally seeing what he went through. I don't know what he went through. It's just what I'm imagining he went through, and my imagination tends to always go for the worst case scenario. So it's like just over and over and over, my mind is replaying what I think happened, which would have been absolutely terrified. You've for some reason lost control of your vehicle. You go into the meridian, and then you're propelled down, and I don't know how long that took. I mean, probably seconds, but you know how when you're going through something like that, seconds feel like hours, and you're terrified because you have no control over your vehicle at that point, and then you are in a collision with another car, you're flipped over, and he was still alive after that, because I had gotten an email from a man who went to his side and stayed with him until he was taken away by the ambulance, and tried to stabilize him. He was a former EMT, but I haven't, I emailed him back, and I haven't heard back from him. So it's like, he had to have been terrified, obviously. And so it's like my mind is just replaying it. I was kind of able to, it was like in the background playing. It wasn't like out in the front. And also there's a soundtrack in my mind that goes with it, because for the last few months, a few times, this didn't happen a lot, maybe half a dozen times or so, I had to wake Bill up in the middle of the night because he was crying out repeatedly in his sleep, and he didn't remember what he was dreaming about, but he was like really like crying out. And so that is the soundtrack for this imagining, is I'm hearing him crying out like he was doing at night. And again, I'm not saying he was like, he had some foreknowledge and he was dreaming. I'm not saying that at all. It's just what my mind is putting together, because your mind, where there's a vacuum, your mind rushes in to fill it. And there's this vacuum that I don't know what happened. And so my mind is rushing in to make up something, so that something is there. And it's just freaky. I mean, it's really, really freaky. But it was like, it was bothering me, but in more of a moderate way, because it was more in the background. It was like this thing that was running over and over and over in the background, like a television, but you're not really watching it. So you're aware of it, you're hearing it, you're seeing it, but you're not really paying attention to it. Well, then yesterday I got a phone call from some guy representing Avis, which I guess is must have been like the other guy was driving a rental car. And so, it's like, and he's asking me questions, and he was being polite and everything, but it was just like, first of all, do I even know that this guy is for real? Because I have been warned that a lot of people are going to try to take advantage of me while I'm in grief, and especially as a widow, people will try to do all kinds of things. And so, I have no proof that he's actually from Avis, and I didn't know if I should talk to him or direct him to my lawyer or what, or my insurance or what. I did call my insurance claim person afterwards and, tell them about the phone call. But it was just like, and I didn't answer any of his questions. I said, I don't feel comfortable talking to you, and I don't think that I'm supposed to. And call me back next week, and I'll tell you how to contact my lawyer or something. Because what's going to happen is that, when insurance companies have to pay money for something like this, and there were two parties involved in this, so two insurance companies, they want to try to recoup that money. So they have to figure out who's to blame for an accident so that they can recoup their money. And so, yeah, that's going to be, oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, it's just like, you can't go through this and end it. It has to be like made worse and worse and worse. It's like somebody's going to try to make Bill look bad, and that's so uncool. And it's so stupid. It just makes me angry because he was just a wonderful, wonderful man. And here at the end of his life, somebody's going to try to make him look like he did something wrong. And that makes me really, really angry. And anyway, but for some reason, and I'm not really exactly sure why, but getting this phone call made this background thing that was playing come to the surface, so that it's like I'm very, very conscious of this playing over. I'm playing over right now while I'm talking to you, and I can hear Bill crying out, and it's really wearing me down. And if this continues for more than a couple days, I really seriously may have to go to a doctor and get some kind of medication, because it's just like, you can't cope with this. It's like being in an accident over and over and over. And anyway, it's just like, and again, I don't even know if what I'm imagining is what my husband actually went through. It's just my mind filling in this vacuum of lack of facts and trying to fill it in with something, because nature hates a vacuum. So anyway, so that's happening, and it's I keep giving it to God. It doesn't go away. I don't even know what else to say about it. I just wanted to tell about that because it really helps me to share things on here, and helps knowing that people are watching and listening, and also because it's like so many people have said that this is helping them. So I'm kind of assuming, because I've learned since the internet, basically, I've learned that any experience that I have, any idea that I have, or anything like that, probably somebody else, and probably 1,000 other people have experienced or had a similar or same idea or experience or whatever. And so chances are there is somebody else, at least one other person, who's going through something similar to what I'm going through. And so it's not going to help you, but I know that it's comforting to me when I really feel like somebody else understands what I've gone through. And also, like if I'm reading an author, they don't know about me, so they don't understand what I'm going through, but they've been through a similar thing. I can see that it's similar, and so it gives me hope. So I'm sharing this, and hopefully down the road I can share with you how it's resolved. So anyway, so that's what's happening. And otherwise, I am doing a little bit better. I shared with you in a separate video, which I recorded before this, but which I will probably post tomorrow, about something I read that really helped me. So, yeah, I'm coping. I'm not crying as much. I'm still crying quite a bit. I still miss Bill horribly, horribly, horribly. I'm still talking to him. I don't know if I'll ever stop that either. I still am not sure how I'm going to live without him, but I know that I don't have a choice, and so I know that I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how I'm going to do it, and God has told me that I need to not just survive, but I need to thrive, and I believe that. I believe that He wouldn't have told me that if it's not going to happen. So, but I do know that I have to make some effort in that, and I'm not quite sure what yet. I'm not panicked about, oh gosh, I need to find out how to do this. It's gonna come. It's gonna come, and I'm not there yet anyway. I'm still just trying to deal with all the fallout crap, all the paperwork that you have to do, all the phone calls that you have to make, all the people making demands on you, from government entities and companies to family members making simple requests that are not unreasonable, but it's just one more thing being piled onto you. Yeah, so it's just like, yeah, right now I'm just trying to keep my head above water. And yeah, so anyway, that's it. I think that's all that I wanted to share. Yeah, I love you all. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.